On a street, these two men were panicking and using all their strength to run away. Someone was chasing them from behind. One of them was unfortunately hit by a speeding car. Seeing his friend in trouble, the other immediately gave up on running away and hugged his friend, crying in pain. It turned out that this man was being chased by the police for stealing 7 billion won from a mafia boss. Not long after, he was quickly arrested and put in prison. Here, a beautiful woman came to see him. Two were lovers, but the man did not expect that this woman was the culprit who framed him. When asked why, this crazy woman calmly replied that she was going abroad to film for a year. She did not want her boyfriend to have contact with other women, so she planned to frame him. She also said that she had arranged everything. All the man needed was to obediently stay in prison for a year. After getting out, he will enjoy a rich life with her. After hearing that, he went crazy, flipped the table, and broke up with this evil woman. That unfortunate man's name is Oh-soo. Since he was a child, he was abandoned by his mother and had to live in an orphanage. His excellent card-playing skills not only helped Oh-soo become rich, but his handsome face and talent for flirting also made women fall in love with him. But that was what led him to tragedy when his girlfriend cheated on him. However, as planned, a year later, Oh-soo was released from prison. At this time, not only did he run out of money, but he also received bad news from Jin-sung that his friend who had accidentally run away with him that year had died. Oh-soo planned to follow his old profession with Jin-sung to get rich, but all the casinos blocked him because Oh-soo's name was blacklisted. What's worse is that Chairman Kim's subordinates came to him. They demanded that he return the 7 billion he stole plus 1 billion in interest. Despite Oh-soo's protest that the money was taken by his girlfriend So-ra and had nothing to do with him, the debt collector didn't care and suddenly stabbed him. The debt collector also warned Oh-soo that paying was the only solution. Just when Oh-soo was cornered, a middle-aged man came to find Oh-soo. Knowing that his name was Oh-soo, the man immediately called him young master. The man introduced himself as Lawyer Jong, a close friend of Oh-soo's father. It turned out that Oh-soo's father was the chairman of PL Group. Lawyer Jong announced that the chairman had passed away and that the family only had a blind daughter named Oh-young. He hoped that Oh-soo could return to inherit the property and lead the group. At this time, Oh-soo remembered his old friend who had died, also named Oh-soo. That friend once told him that I had a rich father. Oh-soo's face immediately changed. Maybe this was the only way to save his life. Oh-soo said he was busy and would contact him later. Then he hurried into the house and found everything that belonged to his old friend. Oh-soo and Jin-sung decided to carry out a big scam. So-jun also helped them collect and know everything about the PL Group. With the help of this information expert, their plan would probably be easier to succeed. Not only that, in order for the scam to be successful, Oh-soo also diligently practiced writing to resemble his old friend's handwriting. The only person who knew that Oh-soo was impersonating him was Oh-young. Luckily, she was blind, but Oh-soo had met Oh-young before and he knew that she was very smart and not someone who could be fooled easily. To reassure him, Jin-sung forged all his personal documents. Moreover, Jin-sung had not yet had time to make a death certificate for Oh-soo, so no one would find any clues to expose them. After they finished preparing, they started their scam. Because Oh-soo had many years of experience in scamming, he decided to act first to gain the upper hand. At first, Oh-soo was dissatisfied with the family photo. He questioned the stepmother, who considered herself the mistress of the house. Then he made an excuse that the curtains and wallpaper were not the same color as before. Oh-soo asked if the stepmother intentionally erased all traces of his mother, but the stepmother and the man with her did not give in and quickly responded. This man with glasses was originally Oh-young's fiancé. Suddenly, another heir appeared, which affected his interests, so he forced Oh-soo to prove identity. He said that there was a burn mark on the young master's arm and told Oh-soo to show it to everyone. Oh-soo knew that if he showed concern now, everyone would think he was feeling guilty, so he firmly refused. But he signaled Jin-sung to pretend to pour water on himself. Then he took off his suit to reveal a long scar on his arm. It turned out that Oh-soo had prepared it in advance. Indiana ordered to have a scar like the dead young master. Oh-soo did not hesitate to pour boiling water on his arm. After the people in the house saw the scar, they no longer suspected anything. They thought that everything had gone smoothly, but at this moment, Oh-young appeared again. She said that when she went to look for him, she couldn't find him. What was the point of coming back now? Oh-soo wanted to explain, but Oh-young asked the lawyer to read her father's will again. The will said that all the chairman's assets were handed over to Oh-young, so there was no reason for her brother to return. After saying that, Oh-young coldly left. However, thanks to his rich experience in love, Oh-soo understood females very well. Oh-soo knew that Oh-young was just angry and that everything was still under control. Oh-soo chased after and grabbed Oh-young's hand, but she reacted strongly, injuring Oh-soo's Su's face. Seeing her attitude, Su also realized that if he wanted to get the money, he had to have a long-term plan. The next day, Su followed Young to the mall. The two children were running around and accidentally spilled Young's coffee. A child was hit by the spilled coffee and quickly burst into tears. Unexpectedly, the child's mother ran over. Without finding out what was going on, she pushed Young down. She also said that a blind person like Young should stay home. Don't go out and disturb others. A kind girl came forward to pick up the walking stick and help Young up. Young awkwardly left but unfortunately fell into the lake. Seeing this, everyone gathered around to gossip loudly, but no one was willing to come forward to help. All of this was witnessed by the fake brother Su. Because he wanted to gain Young's trust, he did not rush forward to help. As time passed, Young felt more and more desperate and helpless. Realizing that the opportunity had come, Su pushed everyone away and went to Young. He did not rush to help her up but asked her why she did not ask for help from others. Why did she not trust anyone? Then he comforted Young that if she needed help, she should hold his hand. Panic, despair, and shame mixed together. Young finally held Su's hand. After leaving the mall, Su received a text message from the debt collector. It turned out that he was always watching Su's every move. He said that if this girl died, Su could inherit a fortune of hundreds of billions of won. At this time, Young also said that if Su approached her for money, there was a very easy way for him to get the money, which was to push her down as the train passed by. Su was extremely confused after hearing that. His hands started to shake. Just as Su was still stunned, Young had already walked to the railroad tracks. After regaining his composure, Su approached and hugged Young to his chest. Young was curious why Su wanted to save her. Su took this opportunity to gain her trust. He said that he was sorry for not coming sooner. If he had appeared earlier, Young probably wouldn't have had to suffer so much misfortune. After hearing that, Young couldn't control her emotions and burst into tears. Even so, she still didn't completely trust Su. After returning home, she expressed her doubts. When she went to find her brother, she met a man. Although she couldn't see, her hearing was very sensitive. Young found that the brother who appeared before her had a voice very similar to the one she met that day. Hearing that, Su was extremely frightened, but he quickly regained his composure. He went forward and grabbed Young's shoulder so she could feel the scar on his hand. This action calmed Young, but she continued to check him. She wanted him to bring the gift he promised to give her on the day they broke up. Hearing this, Su immediately became worried, so he could only change the subject. At the same time, the stepmother suspected Su's identity, so she secretly searched through his room. Luckily, Su had prepared in advance, so she couldn't gather any information. At the same time, Young's fiancé also investigated Su. He had someone steal Su's toothbrush for testing. Jin-sung and Su also discovered the whole thing. Jin-sung rushed home to find his late brother's old toothbrush, but the landlord said that they were moving house today, so the old stuff had been moved. After hearing that, Jin-sung quickly ran after the garbage truck. Luckily, So-jun heard the news and rushed over to help. After searching through the entire garbage truck, luck finally smiled on them. Soon after, the two went to the hospital and swapped the test samples. Young's fiancé received the test results and found out that they were siblings, so he was angry and immediately threw the results on the ground. At the same time, Su at home accidentally overheard the conversation between Young and the stepmother. Only then did he know that Young was blind due to brain cancer. Young also said that if she died, Su would become the official heir. She agreed to hand over her assets to Su on one condition: he would help her end her miserable life. Of course, with his experience as a scammer, Su knew that Young was testing him, so he coldly said that he didn't need her money. However, Young still asked where the gift he promised to give her was. Su had no choice but to say that he would bring it later. When he knew that Young had brain cancer, Su's face suddenly plotted something. In order to be closer to Young, Su took her for a walk. Since becoming blind, Young rarely went to crowded places, so she was a bit scared. She always held Su's sleeve tightly, and he very delicately stood behind her and put his arm around her shoulder. That way, she could enjoy the bustling atmosphere with peace of mind. Then Su also taught her how to shoot a gun. He wanted her to be able to do everything like a normal person. It had been a long time since Young had been so happy and smiled so brightly. Young had also gradually opened up to Su more. When she returned home, Young was curious why her mother didn't come to find her. Could it be that her mother didn't miss her? Su had no choice but to awkwardly find a reason to answer that she was seriously ill and couldn't go. At night, Young went to a warehouse. Su also quietly followed her until Young left. He quietly broke the lock and went in. He thought maybe there would be some secret here. Su slowly searched every corner. He found a room that contained all the memories of Young and her her brother's childhood. Oh-soo curiously opened the old movies to watch in the hope of understanding more about the past. From here, Oh-soo gradually sympathized with Oh-young's lonely situation. It turned out that she had suffered a lot of pain. At this time, Oh-young returned to her room and realized that she had forgotten something. So she immediately returned to the warehouse and found that the lock had been removed. Then she went in and heard a noise. She turned to ask who was there. Just as Oh-soo was about to be discovered, a cat appeared. So Oh-young didn't suspect anything anymore. When Oh-young left, she locked the door. Oh-soo had no choice but to stay here. By chance, he watched the video and knew the truth of the past. When Oh-young gradually lost her eyesight, her stepmother told her to go abroad for treatment. But Oh-young didn't smell the hospital at all. She only heard her stepmother say she had brain cancer and had absolutely no idea what was happening. From then on, she was like a doll in her stepmother's captivity. At this time, Seo-jun also came to rescue him and get him out. From the old photo, Seo-jun gradually guessed the gift that Oh-young mentioned. The next morning, Seo-jun brought a lot of lamb's ears. As soon as she touched the flowers, Oh-young was very happy because this was the gift her brother promised to give her when they met again. Oh-soo turned to thank So-yoon for saving him from a big problem in time. Then he used his tactful speaking skills to gain Oh-young's trust. Now, Oh-young completely trusted Oh-soo. The two planted trees together like when they were children. This was probably an extremely happy time for the blind girl Oh-young. On this side, Oh-young's fiancé still didn't completely trust because the doctor said the toothbrush brought for testing had been used for a long time. He and Oh-young's stepmother continued to prepare for a new plot. Not stopping there, disaster was about to strike when actress So-ra, Oh-soo's ex-girlfriend, returned to the country. Her upcoming project coincidentally involved Oh-young's stepmother. At the same time, Oh-young's fiancé also went to Oh-soo's old house. This place is now owned by the debt collector. Will he tell Oh-soo's secret? Oh-soo doesn't know about this. He and Oh-young are eating cotton candy. This is her favorite food from childhood. Then Oh-young suggests that they go to the river where they used to play when they were little because he doesn't know where that place is. Oh-soo takes Oh-young to the place where her brother's ashes are scattered. Oh-young doesn't know that. In her head, it's like a slow-motion movie, rewinding the happy memories of the past. Coincidentally, Oh-soo is also good at throwing rocks, like Oh-young's brother. The noise on the water makes Oh-young want to immerse herself in that moment. She unconsciously goes down to the river. When Oh-soo turns around, she sees Oh-young has gone far away. He quickly chases after her and pulling her ashore. Because Oh-soo is so worried, he slaps Oh-young to wake her up. Coincidentally, this slap was very similar to her brother's actions in the past. This made Oh-young believe even more that the person in front of her was her brother. She raised her hand to touch his face to feel his face more clearly. This moment made Oh-soo a little move. It was already dark now. Oh-soo still kept scolding Oh-young, but Oh-young just laughed happily because it had been a long time since someone had truly cared about her. Oh-soo warned her not to harm herself anymore. Then he ran to buy her some warm water. At the same time, the debt collector revealed that there were two Oh-soos. He also showed a photo of a group of 3 friends. Then he told about an Oh-soo who was addicted to gambling, fraud, and was in debt. Immediately after that, the debt collector also called Oh-soo to inform him of everything. He warned Oh-soo to quickly end this drama because he didn't have much time left for Oh-soo. It turned out that the debt collector had secretly loved a girl before, but that girl only loved Oh-soo. After returning to the car, Oh-soo suggested that the two of them go to the beach tonight. He wondered if he had some kind of plan, but the innocent Oh-young was very happy with this trip. Seeing that it was late and Oh-young had not returned, the stepmother was extremely angry, but Oh-soo did not care. He warned her not to act like their mother because it was ridiculous. Then he and Oh-young rode a motorbike because this was her long-time dream. The two of them had some really happy moments together. At the same time, So-yoon and Jin-sung are preparing for Heeju's death anniversary day. She was Oh-soo's ex-girlfriend and also So-yoon's older sister. The two of them tried to contact Oh-soo, but he did not pick up. Could he forget this day? So-yoon wanted to go find Oh-soo but was stopped by Jin-sung because he thought Oh-soo was just sitting sadly drinking alone somewhere. Oh-soo was indeed drinking but with Oh-young. Because this was also something Oh-young wanted to experience once, there seemed to be no distance between them anymore. The two of them freely told each other sad stories, or even silly stories, that they had experienced. It was already late. Oh-soo prepared a place for Oh-young to sleep, but she asked him to sleep with her. Oh-soo quickly refused, because when they were adults, boys and girls should not sleep together. But Oh-young did not pay attention to this. She simply wanted to sleep with her brother. For a blind person like her, she could only touch to feel, and she wanted to know what her brother was like. Oh-soo obediently followed her wishes. Oh-young began to measure how tall Oh-soo was, how big his hands were. Even though she could not see, Oh-young thought he was was very handsome, because according to the blind person's standards, as long as he is tall and has a deep voice, he must be very handsome. Then she calmly hugged him and went to sleep. It had been a long time since she had slept so well. Oh-soo wanted to leave but was stopped by Oh-young because she did not want to leave his warm embrace. The next morning, the two of them walked along the beach together. Oh-young could not remember how long it had been since she had smiled so much. She asked him to promise to be by her side whenever she needed him. Oh-soo happily accepted. So-yoon now discovered that Oh-soo had not been to her sister's grave. She was even angrier when she knew that Oh-soo was with Oh-young. So-yoon broke the tombstone that Oh-soo had built. Then she announced that she was cutting off her relationship with Oh-soo. Seeing Oh-soo's strange attitude, Oh-young was worried and asked, but what she received in return was Oh-soo's angry attitude. Then he called the stepmother to pick Oh-young up. The stepmother was very happy. She carefully checked to see if Oh-young was injured, as if she was trying to preserve one of her dolls. Oh-young knew that her stepmother was just using her and treating her like a toy, but she couldn't do anything about it. Oh-soo also went to his ex-girlfriend's grave. He was extremely angry with himself for forgetting such an important day. He didn't expect that Oh-soo would meet the debt collector. It turned out that he and Hee-ju used to be friends. He fell in love with Hee-ju, but she was only loyal to Oh-soo. But Oh-soo didn't cherish her at all. When he found out that Hee-ju was pregnant, he coldly abandoned her because he was an orphan and didn't want the child born to have an unhappy life like him. Also, because she wanted to hold on to Oh-soo. Hee-ju unfortunately had an accident. That was also the thing he regretted the most in his life. Seeing that Oh-soo seemed to be repentant, the debt collector gave Oh-soo a pill. It could help the person who took it die peacefully. Even an autopsy wouldn't be able to tell. Oh-soo could choose to take it or give it to his younger fake sister. That way, everything could end quickly. At home, Oh-young was also recording. This was her habit whenever she had something to say. She confessed how happy she was to have her brother. Even though he was sometimes angry or ignored her, she didn't care. She knew she didn't have much time left because her headaches had been getting worse lately. Oh-young wanted to spend the last time of her life happily living with her brother. Oh-soo also returned at this time. Oh-young hurriedly went to ask about what happened today, but Oh-soo still had a bad attitude and sent her back to her room. However, Oh-young didn't give up. Oh-soo had to give up and tell the truth. Because he was with Oh-young, he forgot his ex-girlfriend's death anniversary. Oh-young went to comfort Oh-soo, but that made him even more short of breath. Oh-soo suggested that Oh-young return to his seat. At this time, Oh-young accidentally stepped on the pill. She asked him what it was. Oh-soo replied that it was an amulet that could make all pains lighter. Unexpectedly, Oh-young was very interested in this medicine. She suggested that he give it to her. Oh-soo pondered whether he should do so or not. Finally, he made a choice. This medicine should be for him. Then he told Oh-young to go to the bedroom. But Oh-young wanted to sleep with him, because only when she was near him could she sleep well. Oh-soo responded to that suggestion with an angry attitude. Oh-young apologized because she couldn't see and didn't realize his fatigue. Then Oh-young quietly left, but when Oh-young slept alone, she always had nightmares. The sound of wind chimes caught Oh-soo's attention. He closed the door because he didn't want Oh-young to catch a cold. But Oh-young ran to open it because she was afraid of the stuffy air when she was alone. In the end, Oh-soo had to give up. Oh-young had a deal. She took out the will, which said that after she died, all her assets would belong to Oh-soo. In return, Oh-young wanted to co-own the pill with him. While Oh-soo was still stunned, Oh-young hooked her finger at him. Her kindness made Oh-soo extremely ashamed of himself. Then Oh-young leaned her head on Oh-soo's shoulder and fell asleep. Until the next morning, So-jun came to their house to find them. The scene of the two hugging each other while sleeping shocked both her and their stepmother. Outside, Jin-sung tried to calm So-jun's anger that everything was going according to plan. Oh-soo was just trying to gain Oh-young's trust, but the woman's intuition told So-jun that things weren't that simple. So-yoon met Oh-young alone at a coffee shop. She knew that Oh-soo rode a motorbike because of Oh-young, something he promised he would never do again, because motorbikes were the reason her sister left forever. So-yoon was so angry that she decided to tell the truth that there were two Oh-soos, and Oh-young's brother was a swindler with a lot of debt, so he came to Oh-young to get money. At this time, Oh-soo also arrived. In his anger, Oh-soo slapped So-yoon. Not wanting to make things more complicated, Jin-sung quickly pulled So-yoon away. Oh-young was now on the verge of tears. She asked him if what she had just heard was true. He treated her well only for money. Without waiting for Oh-soo to explain, Oh-young stood up and left. Oh-soo just followed her slowly. He saw her fall with his own eyes, but he didn't dare to help her up. After Oh-young returned home safely, Oh-soo went to find So-jun in front of So-jun's anger. Oh-soo just hugged her and comforted her. Just like that, So-yoon's anger subsided. At the same time, Oh-young was on a date with her fiancé, but he didn't pay any attention to Oh Young. The whole time, he just pressed the phone and answered Oh Young's questions superficially. Also, because of his bad mood, Oh Young drank a full glass of beer. It was the first time her fiancé saw her like that. The two of them drank together until they were drunk. While he was out, Oh Young called Oh Soo. She said that she was drunk, so if Oh Soo wanted her dead, this was the best opportunity. Afraid that Oh Young would get drunk and do something stupid, Oh Soo quickly drove to her place. At the same time, the debt collector also told Jin Sung about Pill. He hoped Jin Sung would urge Oh Soo to end things quickly. Oh Soo had arrived at the bar and witnessed Oh Young's fiancé kissing her. For some reason, Oh Soo felt extremely uncomfortable. He went up and said he would take his sister home, but Oh Young's fiancé insisted on taking her to the car. The phone he left on the table suddenly rang. Oh Soo saw a strange name, so he tried to pick it up and found out that Oh Young's fiancé was a jerk who was having an affair behind her back. Sitting in the car, Oh Young kept asking Oh Soo how he would arrange her death. A car accident at this time would be very reasonable. Hearing this, Oh Soo was extremely angry. He hoped she wouldn't believe So-Yoon's lies. It was all a misunderstanding. If he wanted to kill her for money, he would have had many opportunities to do so. She wanted to die and couldn't see anything, so she became an easy target for him. Oh Soo asked her to use her heart to feel his feelings. Oh Young had never trusted anyone before. This was the first time she trusted someone so much. Oh Young asked Oh Soo if she could trust him. Oh Soo gently hugged Oh Young and said that from now on, she could trust him. Perhaps even Oh Soo did not expect that his scam plan had now taken a new turn. Looking at Oh Young sleeping in his arms, he suddenly felt strangely peaceful. Suddenly, Oh Soo wished that this play could last forever. When Oh Soo returned to his room, Jin Sung was waiting with Pill. Whether Oh Soo or Oh Young took it, it would not have a good outcome. Instead, Jin Sung found a safe. They would steal the money they needed and quickly end everything. This was probably the best choice. The next morning, Oh Young had a meeting with her fiancé's family. Taking that opportunity, Oh Soo's group also started their plan. But what Oh Soo didn't expect was that the blind date didn't go smoothly because Oh Young accidentally heard that her fiancé had another girlfriend. His parents also didn't want their son to live with a blind person like her. The fiancé quickly came forward to explain, but Oh Young acted like he didn't hear anything. She said she had a cold and wanted to go home early. At the same time, Oh Soo sneaked into Oh Young's room. With his innate high skills, this old safe couldn't be difficult for him. In front of him were a lot of gold bars, but before he could take them, Oh Young returned. Oh Soo quickly hid behind the door. However, the stepmother discovered something strange. She quickly found out where Oh Soo was hiding, but strangely, she didn't report Oh Soo to Oh Young. When there were only two people left, Oh Soo couldn't hide his fear, but he quickly regained his composure. With his intelligence, Oh Soo quickly found a reason to explain. He said that he needed to find Oh Young's diary because he had seen the tape of Oh Young saying that the stepmother had never taken her to get eye surgery, so he was curious about the terrible things that the stepmother had done to Oh Young. Hearing this, the stepmother was indeed startled, but she quickly regained her composure. She knew that Oh Soo needed 8 billion won. As long as Oh Soo agreed to leave Oh Young, the stepmother promised to give him the money he needed. Oh Soo acted like he didn't need that money. He also didn't forget to warn the stepmother to be careful, because from now on he would closely monitor her every move. At the same time, Oh Young had a severe headache again. She hurriedly searched everywhere for Oh Soo's pill. When she found it, Oh Young finally slept well. On the other hand, Jin Sung was very upset when Oh Soo refused to take the stepmother's money, but So-Yoon realized that it was just a trap. Because she was suspicious, she would probably find out Oh Soo's true identity. They had to end this deal as soon as possible. But the stepmother was not the type of person to be easily touched. She took inventory of the assets in the safe and moved it somewhere else. Oh Young was curious about the reason why the safe was moved. Lawyer Jang was afraid that she would be sad, so he didn't dare tell the truth. But he advised Oh Young not to trust Oh Soo too much. Until now, he himself didn't know if it was right to bring Oh Soo back. Hearing this, Oh Young was really angry because she didn't know clearly about the uncle in front of her, the person her father trusted the most. She didn't know if he was on her side or her stepmother's side. She had always lived under her stepmother's captivity. More than 20 years had passed, and now she could finally trust someone, yet everyone was always trying to separate her from him. After saying that, Oh Young left angrily. In order to find more evidence against her stepmother, Oh Soo watched the tapes alone. One time, Oh Young secretly went to the hospital alone. She knew that she was blind due to retinitis pigmentosa, not a brain tumor. She only needed surgery to be cured, but the stepmother deliberately hid the truth and refused to treat Oh Young. Her plot was to keep Oh Young blind so that she could easily control, but Oh Young patiently waited for her brother to return. She believed that he would definitely help her punish this evil stepmother. Hearing this, Oh Soo suddenly suddenly burst into tears. He both felt sorry for Oh Young and blamed himself because of him. Oh Young's real brother died. What should he do for Oh Young? When Oh Soo came out, he ran into Oh Young. She was calling him to make an appointment. Oh Soo pretended that he wasn't home to avoid her, but Oh Young insisted on picking him up. She signaled the servant to be quiet and pretended that she was at the bookstore outside. Even though he knew Oh Young was lying, Oh Soo still wanted to please her. He quietly followed Oh Young and carefully observed to make sure she wasn't in danger. Until they were near the meeting point, Oh Soo ran as fast as he could towards Oh Young to pick her up. Suddenly, a group of people were running towards her and were about to collide with the four. Oh Soo intended to go over to help, but in the end, he chose to smile when he saw that she could handle everything by herself. After knowing that Oh Young had taken the pill, he was extremely worried. Luckily, she only brought it to sleep. Miraculously, it helped Oh Young sleep better. Oh Soo asked Oh Young to give him the pill because it was too dangerous. Oh Young promised that when she used it, she would definitely ask for his permission. Oh Young's fiancé also called at this time. He tried to explain about yesterday, but Oh Young said she didn't hear anything. She told him to arrange another meeting. Knowing that Oh Young's fiancé was a jerk, Oh Soo wanted to stop this marriage, but Oh Young knew that he had helped manage the company since her father passed away. Without him, she didn't know what to do. Moreover, for a blind person like her, love wasn't important. She just needed someone to help her. Even though she didn't know if it could be done, Oh Soo promised to find a way to cure Oh Young's eyes. At the same time, the stepmother was meeting with lawyer Jong privately. She wanted to use the fingerprints on the painting to confirm whether Oh Soo was really Oh Young's brother or not. Even though he knew this would make Oh Young sad, lawyer Jong had no other choice. The next morning, Oh Soo fulfilled Oh Young's wish, which was to take her skiing. There were so many interesting things in life that Oh Young had never experienced. The two happily spent time together, not paying attention to anything around them. This made So Jun and Jin Sung a little uncomfortable. After taking Oh Young home, Oh Soo went to find an acquaintance. But for some reason, this doctor absolutely did not want to meet Oh Soo. At the same time, the debt collector made an appointment to meet So Ra. He told her everything that had happened. So Ra, who had been hunting Oh Soo everywhere, now knew that he was with a beautiful girl. So Ra's jealousy grew stronger. She was determined to pull Oh Soo back to her side once again. As promised, Oh Young came to pick up the item she had ordered today. When she was about to leave, the severe headache came again. The debt collector also informed Oh Soo that he had revealed everything to So Ra. He told Oh Soo to wait for the most tragic ending. At this time, Oh Young's phone called. The staff told Oh Soo about Oh Young's unstable condition. Without much time to think, Oh Soo rushed there. Seeing Oh Soo coming, Oh Young could not bear it any longer. Oh Soo quickly carried her away. At this time, So Ra also came here, but Oh Soo did not care about her. The important thing was to take Oh Young to the emergency room first. Jin Sung also told Oh Soo to rest assured and let him handle the rest. As expected, So Ra was meeting Oh Young's fiancé, Myung Ho. Just when So Ra was about to reveal Oh Soo's true identity, Jin Sung called. Jin Sung said that if she wanted to see Oh Soo again, she had to be smart. It was obvious that Oh Soo was what So Ra wanted, so she decided to keep it a secret. Myung Ho couldn't get any information in the end. On the other hand, Oh Young at the hospital refused to do any tests. The doctor said that her cancer might be coming back. Oh Soo was extremely angry when Oh Young refused to get examined and treated, but Oh Young was so sick of needles being stuck all over her body to draw blood, or being locked in a sterile room for treatment. Oh Young said she was afraid of getting sick, but she was also afraid of the smelly hospital and was much more afraid of being with her stepmother. In the end, Oh Soo had to give in to Oh Young's stubbornness. To stop Oh Soo from worrying, Oh Young promised that she would see a doctor immediately if she felt unwell. Then Oh Young wanted Oh Soo to come to the company ceremony with her. The shareholders had always looked down on Oh Young because she was disabled. Oh Young wanted Oh Soo to appear so that they wouldn't see Oh Young alone anymore. Even though he didn't want to appear in public, Oh Soo still followed Oh Young's wishes. Today, Jin Sung brought good news. He and So Jun had captured a photo of Oh Young's cheating fiancé, so they had his weak point. The next day, Oh Young wanted to surprise Oh Soo. She took him to a villa in the suburbs. Here, she wanted to make a cake for her brother, but seeing her awkwardly holding the knife, Oh Soo was extremely worried. In the end, he had to help her. Oh Soo wanted that even if he wasn't by her side, Oh Young would still be able to do the things she wanted. At night, Oh Young panicked because she couldn't find the wind chime. Oh Young couldn't sleep without it. Oh Soo had seen the bell, but he left it near Oh Young's hand. He didn't want Oh Young to feel guilty just because she couldn't see it. The next morning, the two of them went snow mountain climbing together for the first time. Because Oh Young was a little nervous on the cable car, she gradually calmed down after holding her brother's hand. It turned out that this was what it felt like to have a brother protecting her. Without Oh Soo, Oh Young probably wouldn't have been able to conquer this high mountain in her life. As soon as she took off her cap, the sound of wind chimes tinkled, which surprised Oh Young greatly. It turned out that Oh Soo had hired someone to hang thousands of wind chimes here. Oh Soo wanted Oh Young to be able to feel the beautiful scenery here through the tinkling wind chimes on the tree branches because she was so touched. Oh Young unconsciously kissed her brother on the cheek as a thank you. This was probably the most beautiful memory in both Oh Soo and Oh Young's lives. At night, Oh Young had trouble sleeping. Oh Young went to his room and asked to sleep with him. Finally, Oh Young was able to sleep well through the stories that Oh Soo read. Looking at Oh Young sleeping, Oh Soo suddenly felt strangely peaceful. He suddenly wanted to kiss her lips. Luckily, Oh Soo stopped himself in time. Could it be that Oh Soo had fallen in love with Oh Young? The next morning, Oh Young woke up early. She tried to move gently so as not to wake him up. Oh Young couldn't see, so it was a bit difficult. However, she still tried to prepare everything neatly. Then she woke him up with a birthday song. Oh Soo was a bit surprised, but he quickly reacted. According to Oh Young, he went to the living room. This was the first time someone had prepared a birthday for him. Even though the cake or the cup of coffee weren't perfect for Oh Soo, these were priceless things that could not be compared to anything. As soon as Oh Soo put on the wind chime bracelet that Oh Young gave him, he realized that he had fallen into the trap he had set. In this trap, he will be the one who suffers the most. Before the company's anniversary ceremony took place, the person sent by lawyer John sent him an important piece of information that Oh Soo was a famous gambler in the industry. All the information from the investigation did not match Oh Soo's testimony at all. That means he was trying to hide something. Standing in front of all the shareholders, Oh Young introduced her brother. Right after that, Oh Soo also greeted and asked everyone to help Oh Young. Before going down, Oh Soo told Oh Young that no one looked at her with pity anymore. As soon as Oh Soo went down, So Ra also followed him. Myung Ho also sent someone to follow the two of them. Not giving So Ra time to say anything, Oh Soo clearly drew the line between the two. Oh Soo threatened that if So Ra still wanted to be an actress, she should not get involved with him anymore. The person sent by Myung Ho arrived late, so in the end, they did not collect any information. At the same time, lawyer John was asking an acquaintance at the casino to find out all the information about Oh Soo. When Oh Soo went to find Oh Young, she was on her way back. Seeing Oh Young's strange attitude, Oh Soo realized that something was wrong. Although very upset, Oh Young still acted as if nothing was wrong. She asked the driver to keep it a secret from her stepmother if the driver didn't want to be fired. When Oh Soo got home, he ran everywhere to find Oh Young. It wasn't until the glass of water in Oh Young's hand feel that Oh Soo found her. But at this time, the deadly poison pill was in Oh Young's hand. She said that she was in a lot of pain and wanted to drink it to feel better. Oh Soo tried to stop her, but Oh Young refused to listen. Luckily, while giving Oh Young water, Oh Soo quickly brushed the pill to the ground. Just as she was about to pick it up, Oh Soo quickly removed particles inside the pill. What he didn't expect was that the hearing of a blind person was very sensitive. Oh Young knew this. At this moment, the doorbell suddenly rang. Oh Soo went to see, and unexpectedly, So Ra had come here. Not wanting things to get complicated, Oh Soo said he would go out to meet her. Just as Oh Soo wanted to help Oh Young upstairs, Oh Young said she was very cold. She told him to turn on the heater first. As soon as Oh Soo left, Oh Young bent down and picked up the medicine on the floor and put it away. Because he had to go out, Oh Soo called Oh Young's best friend to take care of her. Despite Oh Young's best efforts to stop her, Oh Soo still called to tell his stepmother that Oh Young was sick because right now he really needs her. This made Oh Young extremely angry because every time Oh Young was sick, her stepmother would make her stay in the cold hospital for a whole month. So Oh Young asked her friend to lie to her brother and stepmother that she just had a simple cold. So Ra was curious why Oh Soo didn't ask for 7 billion won from her. Oh Soo knew that the price for that was that he had to stay by her side. Even if he died, he wouldn't do that. Seeing Oh Soo's attitude, So Ra didn't give up. She threatened to tell Oh Soo's secret to his stepmother. So Ra gave Oh Soo 3 days to reconsider his decision. If he didn't want to die, he could only stay by her side. At this time, Oh Young's stepmother and fiancé also returned home. Oh Young's best friend said that she only had a slight cold and was better after eating porridge. When Oh Soo returned, Oh Young also left. She showed her dissatisfaction when he saw her sick and still left her at this time of night. Without waiting for Oh Soo to explain, Oh Young turned and left. He worriedly followed her into the room. He suggested that he wanted to sleep here with her tonight. Unexpectedly, he was coldly rejected by her. Oh Young said she wanted to be alone tonight. Even so, Oh Soo did not give up. When Oh Young was fast asleep, Oh Soo sneaked in and wrote a letter in Braille. Then he carefully checked everything before leaving with peace of mind. But what he did not expect was that she did not sleep at all. As soon as he left, she picked up the letter and read it. It turned out that Oh Soo was afraid that Oh Young would have insomnia, so he attached a wind chime string to her hand. That way, every time she woke up, the wind chime would help calm her mind. But the next morning, during breakfast, Oh Young still had a cold attitude. For some reason, Oh Soo was extremely upset. Today, Oh Young went to see two old friends and asked them to investigate the ingredients in this pill. She wanted to see what kind of medicine it was. Oh Soo went to see the debt collector. It turned out that his sister was the doctor that Oh Soo had come to see. She was the top brain specialist in Korea. Oh Soo wanted her to examine Oh Young. This was ridiculous. The debt collector realized that Oh Soo loved Oh Young. The debt collector wanted to see if Oh Soo would choose love or selfishly choose himself when the debt was due. Just like Oh Soo had abandoned his wife and children before. Before leaving, the debt collector did not forget to remind Oh Soo that he only had 28 days to pay off the debt. After meeting the detective, lawyer John also knew the truth that there were two Oh Soos, and Oh Soo was currently a notorious gambler. He owed the mafia boss 7 billion won. Jin Sung and So Jun continued to follow Myung Ho. Unexpectedly, while working together, the two developed feelings for each other. They promised that when this matter ended, they would give up everything and return to their hometown to live. Today, they also caught Myung Ho still seeing his mistress. The stepmother also revealed the truth about Oh Soo's intentions with Oh Young's safety. She suggested a DNA test to see if Oh Soo was Oh Young's real brother. But Oh Young knew her memories couldn't be fake because Oh Soo still remembered the things he promised her in the past. However, Oh Young now received shocking news. Her friend reported that the drug was a killer, a silent death that could not be detected. Especially this type of drug is especially rare, and not everyone can own it. At this time, Oh Soo also went to Oh Young's room. Faced with Oh Soo's words of concern, Oh Young felt disgusted. She bluntly kicked him out through her stepmother. Oh Young knew that Oh Soo owed money to gangsters. Even though it was dangerous, she still asked for his information and took a taxi there alone. After getting the photo of Myung Ho's affair, Jin Sung suggested using it to threaten him. Then they will get the money they need and quickly end this case. Before Oh Soo can decide anything, he receives a call from the debt collector. He tells Oh Soo that Oh Young is on his way. To meet him, he will tell the truth today. The phone is off as Oh Soo rushes away. Oh Young is now looking for the debt collector. Unfortunately, she encounters a bunch of bad guys. They rob and intend to harm Oh Young. Luckily, Oh Soo appears at this moment. Seeing Oh Soo's ferocious attitude, these bastards are extremely scared and run away. Oh Young bends down to find her belongings. Seeing the tube of medicine in her hand, Oh Soo realizes everything. Oh Soo grabs Oh Young's hand but immediately receives a strong slap from her. It must be too easy for him to trick a blind person like her. Until now, Oh Young simply thought it was a sedative painkiller. Oh Soo unexpectedly brought her a deadly drug, but all this time, Oh Young naively thought that their feelings were true. Oh Soo insisted that he had prepared the drug for himself. He had no reason to live anymore. His life had been so lonely and miserable until he met Oh Young. Being happy with her made him crave this life more than ever. Anyway, things had turned out like this. If Oh Young no longer trusted him, then everything should end. Oh Soo said he would leave. Hearing this, Oh Young was extremely angry. She said goodbye and stood up to leave, but the headache came again. When Oh Soo helped Oh Young up, she had already fainted. After arriving at the hospital, Oh Young had a general checkup. A doctor said that her tumor had recurred and needed immediate surgery. But Dr. Joe said that there was no hope left, so surgery wouldn't change anything. Oh Soo chased after Dr. Joe and begged her to save Oh Young, but she advised him to give up. The surgery only made Oh Young more painful and tired. When Oh Soo returned, Oh Young asked him why he didn't leave. People always threatened blind people like her by leaving. They were always cruel and didn't care about her feelings. That was the most painful thing. So when Oh Young heard that the tumor had recurred, she wasn't afraid anymore. Oh Soo just comforted Oh Young that everything would be fine. Then he went over and hugged her. He hoped that his warmth could give her the strength to overcome this fierce battle. Jin Sung advised Oh Soo to threaten Oh Young's fiancé to get money. They had to end this quickly, but Oh Soo didn't want that. He would solve it his own way. Jin Sung didn't understand why Oh Soo kept delaying. Was he deliberately prolonging it to be with Oh Young? Oh Soo didn't explain anything further and only asked Jin Sung not to act on his own. But this time, Jin Sung decided to disobey Oh Soo. Jin Sung and So Yoon sent the photos to Myung Ho. They gave him 3 days to prepare the money if Hila didn't want the affair to be exposed. When the stepmother found out that Oh Young was at this small hospital, she was furious. She wanted to transfer to the hospital where Oh Young had always been treated, but now Oh Soo no longer trusted her. Moreover, Dr. Joe here was the best at brain surgery, so Oh Soo wanted Oh Young to be treated here. At this time, the stepmother said that she didn't believe that Oh Soo was Oh Young's brother, so she warned him not to go too far. However, Oh Soo didn't listen. He didn't believe that she was really worried about Oh Young. Oh Soo would soon pull down her mask. Lawyer Jung asked Oh Soo what he was implying. Oh Soo said that Oh Young's stepmother had intentionally not treated her eyes so that she had been blind all these years. He would definitely find evidence to prove it. Oh Young went to see the doctor directly to ask about her condition. The success rate was only 10%. Moreover, she would have to undergo radiation therapy many times. When Oh Young knew that, she was in great pain, so she decided to give up hope. She asked her stepmother to take her home, but her stepmother wanted to transfer her to another hospital. Hearing that, Oh Young rushed out regardless of the danger. In the end, the stepmother gave up, but when she got home, she tried to teach Oh Young a lesson. This was something she had never done before, because the stepmother wanted Oh Young to wake up. Oh Young could not give up her life so easily, because Oh Young is her only hope of survival. Oh Young knows stepmother is a bad person, but she is always taking good care of Oh Young. When she was blind, Oh Young was always afraid of being pushed down the stairs or suffocated by a pillow, but what the stepmother did was not that, but every night, she touched Oh Young's forehead and covered her with a blanket. In order for Oh Young to be able to read documents, her stepmother taught Oh Young to know Braille. However, Oh Young did not want to live like her doll anymore. Oh Young was too tired. At the same time, Oh Soo was going everywhere to find information about the doctor who gave the wrong conclusion about Oh Young's eyes, but he had been transferred to another hospital, so it was a bit difficult to find him. Today was also the third day of the appointment, so Ra threatened that she would tell Oh Young's stepmother everything. Oh Soo went to the appointment, but his decision was not to return to her. Oh Soo only hoped that So Ra would live as herself. Don't do such foolish things again because of him. Oh Soo apologized for playing with So Ra's feelings and affirmed that they no longer had any relationship, but So Ra still didn't wake up. No matter what, she was determined to get Oh Soo back to her side. Myung Ho confessed to Oh Young's stepmother about his affair, but that day was the last day he completely broke up with her. The stepmother had known about this for a long time. She gave Myung Ho one last chance. If this happened again, Myung Ho wouldn't even think about marrying Oh Young. He also wouldn't receive any shares of the company. The stepmother also told Oh Soo not to threaten Myung Ho anymore. After all, Oh Young had known about his affair for a long time, so she had confirmed that Oh Soo needed money. Jin Sung's move had really harmed Oh Soo. At the same time, another disaster struck Jin Sung. His sister caused a serious accident. The compensation was so large that Jin Sung didn't know what to do. Everything was at a standstill when suddenly his sister said that she had settled the matter. He wondered who would be the one to settle it. Lawyer Zhang got a photo of Oh Soo when he was a child. From there, Lawyer Zhang discovered that the burn scar was on his left arm, not his right arm. Lawyer Zhang could be sure that Oh Soo was not Oh Young's brother. At this time, Oh Soo put aside his pride and knelt down to beg the debt collector to advise sister to perform surgery on Oh Young. Even though he was beaten up, Oh Soo did not give up. Oh Soo was the one who deserved to die, and Oh Young had done nothing wrong. Seeing Oh Soo injured, Oh Young was extremely worried, but Oh Soo ignored her because he thought that if she cared about him like that, she should have wanted to live and had surgery instead of giving up her life like that. Seeing that Oh Soo did not understand her feelings, Oh Young was extremely heartbroken. She said that she was also afraid of death, even very afraid of death, but she did not want to continue to struggle when there was no more hope. Seeing that she did not share the same opinion with Oh Young, Oh Soo immediately left. This moment made Oh Young remember the memories left behind 15 years ago. Tears just kept rolling down her cheeks. Seeing Oh Young so desperate, Oh Soo could not bear to leave. He took his sister outside to breathe some air. Even though there was only a little hope, Oh Soo still wanted Oh Young to be strong and overcome, because if Oh Young died, he did not want to live anymore. Oh Young went to hug Oh Soo and apologized. She realized that she should continue to live, because for the first time her existence had meaning to someone like that. The next morning, the debt collector announced that his sister had agreed to operate on Nuns Oh Young. Oh Soo happily told Oh Young the news. He then immediately went to see the debt collector. However, there was no free meal. In exchange for Oh Young's operation, Oh Soo's debt repayment period would be reduced by 5 days. That meant there were only 19 days left, but Oh Soo didn't think much about it and immediately agreed. Seeing that Oh Soo was so infatuated with love, the debt collector asked him if he didn't feel guilty towards Heju and the child. Oh Soo said that he had once lived like a bastard who couldn't protect the person he loved, so now he would definitely not repeat that mistake again. At the same time, Oh Young's stepmother found found Oh-soo's file at the orphanage, so she knew Oh-soo's true identity. Seo-jun also investigated and found out that the person who paid for Jin-sung's sister's accident was the debt collector. Not wanting Jin-sung to get into trouble, Oh-soo took on the debt. The debt collector agreed to reduce Oh-soo's repayment period by 5 days. Oh-soo asked Seo-jun to keep this a secret from Jin-sung, but Seo-jun did not listen to him. At this time, the debt collector confided to his subordinate that he had lung cancer for 2 months. He advised his subordinate to find another job and not to risk life by following him anymore. Suddenly, Jin-sung rushed out of nowhere and pushed the debt collector down, saying that he would pay the debt himself and not to pressure Oh-soo anymore. The kind debt collector advised Jin-sung to return to his hometown to take care of his elderly parents. If he did not want to die, then do not get involved with Oh-soo anymore. Jin-sung tried to resist, but he was no match for him. It turned out that Jin-sung, Oh-soo and the debt collector had been neighbors since childhood. Just because of love, they are now enemies. Dr. Jo advised his younger brother to let go of that burden, but he still couldn't forgive Oh-soo. After knowing Oh-soo's true identity, the stepmother and lawyer Jong wanted to tell Oh-young the truth, but at this time, Oh-young said she agreed to the surgery. The stepmother knew that Oh-young suddenly changed her mind because of Oh-soo, so she decided not to expose his identity. After the surgery was over, it was not too late for them to chase Oh-soo away. In the following days, Oh-soo and Oh-young continued to be happy together. Perhaps this was the time when both of them wanted to live the most. Every passing moment was precious, so even at night, the two of them couldn't bear to leave. When she accidentally touched Oh-soo's lips, Oh-young's heart suddenly started beating erratically. It made her unable to understand what this feeling was. Oh-soo's creditor was Mr. Kim, who had taken care of So-ra since she was little. Chairman Kim loved So-ra very much, but she only loved Oh-soo. That's why Mr. Kim hates Oh-soo so much. Knowing that So-ra is the one who stole his money, Mr. Kim wants to use that as an excuse to destroy Oh-soo. Today, he asked So-ra to obediently leave Oh-soo if she doesn't want Oh-soo to die. But So-ra still doesn't give up. She thinks of a plot. Oh-soo now receives bad news. Dr. Jo says the success rate of the surgery is only 10%. She advises Oh-soo to consider this because they could lose Oh-young right on the operating table. Just when Oh-soo is most desperate, So-ra calls and threatens to tell Oh-young the truth. If Oh-soo doesn't want that to happen, then he can escape abroad with her in 2 days. But now, Oh-soo doesn't care about her anymore. He returned because he wanted to see Oh-young. Why did all these unfortunate things happen to this poor girl? Because he couldn't control his emotions. Oh-soo kissed Oh-young on the lips. This surprised Oh-young, but she pretended not to know anything. Then Oh-soo went to the secret warehouse. He turned on the camera and confessed everything. It was hard to start, so Oh-soo turned it off and on again. Oh-soo told Oh-young about her real brother, a kind and warm person who missed Oh-young day and night. Finally, Oh-soo apologized and confessed that he loved Oh-young very much. At this time, Chairman Kim also came to Jin-sung. He promised to erase the debt and give Jin-sung a rich life. In return, Jin-sung had to kill Oh-soo. This was ridiculous. Jin-sung criticized him for not having eyes to see people. When he failed to achieve his goal, Mr. Kim immediately changed his attitude. He ordered his subordinates to eliminate Jin-sung. Even though Jin-sung had experience in fighting, 1 against 7 was too much for Jin-sung. He was quickly defeated by the bastards. Luckily, the debt collector appeared to rescue Jin-sung. The debt collector then chased Mr. Kim and threatened him not to harm Jin-sung. Oh-soo's debt was still due, so he had to follow the rules. Because the mafia also had its own rules, he hated people who didn't keep their promises the most. After yesterday's kiss, Oh-young was a bit embarrassed when Oh-soo was so close to her, so she always tried to avoid him. The stepmother already knew Oh-soo's true identity, but they had the same goal anyway. So for now, she wouldn't expose Oh-soo's identity until Oh-young finished the surgery. Oh-soo would have to leave empty-handed. However, Oh-soo wasn't afraid because he would leave alone. The day he leaves will also be the day his stepmother has to leave this house. After knowing what happened last night, Oh-soo gathered all the money he had and gave it to Jin-sung. Oh-soo wanted Jin-sung to take his parents back to the countryside to live, but Jin-sung refused to leave Oh-soo behind. Seeing his stubborn younger brother like that, Oh-soo was extremely angry because he didn't want another friend to die because of him. Oh-young suggested to Oh-soo that from now on, they shouldn't sleep together anymore because she felt uncomfortable. Oh-soo grabbed her hand and refused this suggestion. He wanted to sleep with her until the day of the surgery. At this point, Oh-young had to tell the truth about yesterday's kiss. A brother and sister couldn't do that. Oh-young also said that she was starting to have strange feelings for him. If they continued, they would make a mistake. Despite Oh-soo's best efforts to apologize, Oh-young still didn't change her decision. After so much effort, Oh-soo finally found the doctor who had misdiagnosed Oh-young's condition years ago. Oh-soo immediately chased after him. Oh-soo thought thought about the misfortunes Oh Young had to go through, or how much she longed to see the light. 2 lines of tears suddenly rolled down Oh Soo's cheeks. As soon as they met, Oh Soo poured all his anger on this damn doctor. Because of that kiss, Oh Young was still afraid to meet Oh Soo. Oh Soo tried to comfort and apologize to Oh Young, but the inconvenience and strange emotions made Oh Young still not want to be close to Oh Soo. The stepmother accidentally heard the whole thing. She asked to talk to Oh Soo privately. At that time, So-ra was at the airport. Because Oh Soo refused to come, she was extremely angry. She called Oh Young and revealed everything. This shock was really too great for Oh Young. She did not expect that time and time again she was deceived by her loved ones. The stepmother questioned Oh Soo why he dared to kiss Oh Young. Oh Soo didn't care about what she did to Oh Young's eyes. The thing that made Oh Young live in the dark and be imprisoned by her. Those crimes made Oh Soo wish he could kill her right now. Oh Young, who was standing outside, heard everything. At the same time, she suffered many shocks that made Oh Young fall into despair. It turned out that she had always lived like a puppet and was deceived by others. Lawyer Jang also knew what the stepmother did to Oh Young. Therefore, he was extremely angry and asked her to leave. Even though she knew everything, Oh Young acted as if nothing happened. She asked her stepmother to go try on wedding dresses with her. Time passed so quickly. Unexpectedly, the stepmother had taken care of Oh Young for more than 20 years. It could be said that she had spent her entire youth with Oh Young. For the first time, Oh Young held her hand and thanked her stepmother for taking care of her. Oh Soo arrived at the warehouse and found that Oh Young had destroyed everything there. So she knew everything. Even though he knew that nothing could be changed, Oh Soo still cleaned everything up. He didn't want the place that contained Oh Young's memories to be destroyed because of him. Oh Young walked out in a gorgeous wedding dress. She knew that her stepmother's lifelong dream was to see her in a wedding dress. Then, Oh Young offered to take a photo with her stepmother. Because it was the first time they took a photo together, her stepmother was very happy. This was the first and last gift Oh Young gave her. After today, Oh Young asked her stepmother to leave her house. Meeting each other at the warehouse, Oh Young asked Oh Soo to go on a trip with her tomorrow. Even though Oh Soo didn't know what Oh Young's intentions were, he still agreed. Passing by the lamb's ear plant that Oh Soo had given Oh Young, she threw it away and said that she didn't like it anymore. After Oh Young left, Oh Soo could only pick up poor plant. Very quickly, the two of them went on a trip together. The stepmother and lawyer John were very worried when they couldn't contact them. Oh Young already knew Oh Soo's true identity, so why did she still travel with him? Oh Young also made a new will, leaving all her assets to the welfare center. Myung Ho called to say that Oh Young had broken off her engagement to him, so she had prepared everything. Lawyer John and the stepmother suspected that something bad would happen. Unexpectedly, the place Oh Young chose was extremely remote. Cars couldn't get in, so they had to walk. After 3 hours, they finally arrived, but the place was extremely dilapidated and old. Oh Soo suggested they go home, but Oh Young did not agree, because this was the first place her family had traveled together. Because there was no food here, Oh Soo went down the mountain to buy things alone. It was not until 6 hours later that he returned exhausted and carefully cooked. Oh Young continued to talk about the past, but of course Oh Soo did not know anything. The atmosphere was suffocating. Finally, Oh Soo had to tell the truth. Oh Young wanted Oh Soo to explain everything, but he did not want to justify anything. This made Oh Young even angrier. She turned her back and wanted to leave, but was pulled back by Oh Soo. Oh Soo did not hesitate to say that he loved Oh Young. Finally, Oh Soo could not control his emotions and kissed her. Oh Young wanted to call lawyer John to pick her up, but Oh Soo turned off his phone. He wanted the two of them to spend the last night together. He wanted to hear her reproaches or even curses. Maybe Oh Young will feel more comfortable. Oh Soo apologizes for initially approaching her with bad intentions, but in the end, his love for her is sincere. Just like that, the two of them spent a long and painful night. The next morning, the debt collector came to Jin Sung's house. Because they used to be neighbors, he just came here to ask, but Jin Sung didn't want to see the debt collector. Jin Sung insisted on causing trouble and chased the debt collector away. After returning home, Oh Young asked her stepmother and Oh Soo to pack up and leave. Myung Ho asked Oh Young why she broke off the engagement, and she told them to let each of them go. Oh Young knew that Myung Ho had always devoted himself to the company, and that her father also trusted him very much. So in the upcoming shareholders meeting, she would propose that Myung Ho become chairman, because she believed that Myung Ho would not let down her father's heart for him. Lawyer John brought Oh Soo the 7 billion won he needed. Lawyer John didn't understand why Oh Young wanted Oh Soo Oh-soo to take the money. The stepmother didn't accept that she was kicked out like that. She asked why Oh-young knew that she didn't treat Oh-young's eyes, but kept quiet. Oh-young admitted that her father and she were sick, so they needed someone to run the company. The stepmother admitted and said that she knew she was being taken advantage of, but she didn't care because she truly loved Oh-young. If she wanted to steal this fortune, there would have been many opportunities when she was with a blind person like Oh-young. The stepmother didn't expect that she devoted herself to loving and taking care of Oh-young, but was kicked out so cruelly. Before leaving, Oh-soo wanted to say goodbye to Oh-young. Oh-young also confessed that she used to love Oh-soo, even though it was all a lie. But anyway, Oh-young thanked him for giving her a truly happy time. However, she did not want to meet a liar like Oh-soo again. Seeing Oh-soo leave the suitcase of money, Lawyer John chased after him and told him to keep it. But in the end, Oh-soo only took a stack of money. That was all he needed. Oh-soo gave the money to the debt collector to pay off Jin-sung's debt. As for his debt, he would take care of it himself. The next morning, Oh-young's stepmother still prepared breakfast as usual. She also called Oh-young's close friends to tell them about Oh-young's hobbies and schedule. She hoped that when she left, everyone could take good care of Oh-young. However, because she had been here for so long, she could no longer remember her parents' home address. Then she had to call her younger sister to ask. After all, the stepmother was really pitiful. In this house, everything was in a mess without her stepmother. The carelessness of the maid caused Oh-young to be injured. This made Lawyer John extremely worried. Oh-soo decided to gamble again to earn money, but all the casinos still refused him. There was no other way but to go directly to Mr. Kim. They would organize a secret gambling place, and the money Oh-soo earned would be Mr. Kim's. If Oh-soo lost, Mr. Kim would kill him. But if he won, the tycoons would also seek revenge on him. Either way, Oh-soo would die, but he still agreed on the condition that Mr. Kim would not drag Jin-sung into this. Mr. Kim seemed to agree to this proposal, but he would not let Jin-sung off easily. Sure enough, when he found out, Jin-sung insisted on accompanying Oh-soo. Mr. Kim, Jin-sung made a deal, and of course this would be a secret from Oh-soo. Today Oh-soo accidentally met a blind girl. This reminded him of Oh-young. He unconsciously helped the girl get on the bus. Coincidentally, that girl was in the same club as Oh-young. Oh-soo quietly followed, watching the girl he loved smile. The moment Oh-soo passed by, Oh-young's friend also saw it. She told Oh-young, but Oh-young pretended not to care. To ease her longing, Oh-young and her stepmother still kept the habit of writing in Braille. Suddenly, Oh-young called. Even though it was just a simple greeting, it was enough to understand that Oh-young still cared about her stepmother very much. Then Oh-young went to Oh-soo's old room. In Oh-young's imagination, he was still by her side. The two of them were still happy together like before. But then Oh-young burst into tears because she was really lonely and missed Oh-soo. This morning was the day Oh-young was hospitalized, but Lawyer John had something to do outside. Her best friend also had an interview. Oh-young said she would take a taxi to the hospital, but in fact, she postponed her hospitalization. Oh-young also asked the employee to take a leave as planned. Then she went to the warehouse alone. Here she accidentally discovered that the lamb's ear plant she threw away was still there. This simple thing made Oh-young suddenly cry. However, at this time, Oh-soo went to the hospital and discovered that Oh-young had not been hospitalized as planned. Too worried, Oh-soo picked up the phone and called Oh-young. Oh-soo realized that Oh-young was not calm and was worried that she would do something stupid. Oh-soo suggested that she go to the warehouse where he had filmed the things he wanted to say to her. Then, Oh-soo immediately ran to catch a taxi there. Coincidentally, the debt collector appeared again. He was now emaciated from lung cancer, but Oh-soo did not recognize. The debt collector wanted to say something, but Oh-soo had no time left. Seeing this, the debt collector gave his car to Oh-soo to save Oh-young. Immediately after that, a stranger ran up and stabbed the debt collector. Even though he still had the last bit of strength, he still tried to fight back and break the arm of Mr. Kim's subordinate. At this time, Jin-sung also appeared, but the debt collector could not hold on any longer. In the end, he passed away on Jin-sung's shoulder. Oh-young at home had also prepared for her death. When Oh-soo arrived, Oh-young had already fallen asleep. Dr. Jo informed Oh-soo about her brother's death. She received the news from Jin-sung on the way here. Oh-soo could only hold her hand and comfort her. Oh-young woke up and saw Oh-soo beside her. Suddenly, she remembered what he said. Oh-young immediately went to the warehouse and watched the video Oh-soo had recorded. Before, Oh-soo always felt that life was unfair because even his biological mother left him at the base of a tree like trash, so he had no interest in life. But since meeting Oh-young, he felt that God was fair. Being with Oh-young made him wish for this life more than ever. Oh-soo's confession of love made Oh-young extremely happy, but could she forgive him for his mistakes? The answer was no. She was not ready to let go of everything and face poor. Oh-young said that if the surgery was successful, they could let go of everything and be friends. Oh-soo also called Oh-young's stepmother stepmother and told her that he was wrong to let her leave. Oh Young, he hoped that she could come back because now was when Oh Young needed her the most. This was also what Oh Young had been waiting for. Now she could truly feel her feelings for her stepmother. Today was the day Jin Sung's family packed up and moved back to their hometown. However, they did not know that Mr. Kim's men had been watching the whole thing. Today was the day the final battle took place. Jin Sung took Osu to the casino, then pretended not to participate and entered the casino through a different route. Each team had 2 people, but Osu was alone. But that didn't make it difficult for a master like Osu. But Osu kept losing the game. He kept looking at his watch because he knew Oh Young's surgery was almost done. Maybe he wouldn't be able to see her anymore. At this moment, Jin Sung appeared from somewhere. Seeing that Mr. Kim broke his promise, Osu was about to rush to fight him, but Osu was stopped by Jin Sung. Jin Sung decided to follow Osu to the end, but when he returned to the game, Osu just turned over his cards and gave up. This made Jin Sung extremely surprised and Mr. Kim extremely worried. Because Osu was using his money to play cards, the 3 of them had to go outside to discuss again. Jin Sung asked Osu why he did that. Osu challenged Miss Kim that if he lost, he would die at most. But Mr. Kim will not get the money he wants, but will lose all his money to the tycoons. Mr. Kim's last choice is to participate in this match. What's more surprising is that Jin Sung has installed a camera in advance. If Osu wins the match but cannot leave here safely, Mr. Kim will also lose all his business opportunities in this area. At this time, Oh Young also entered the operating room. In the end, she still could not see Osu. With the good coordination of the couple, Osu and Jin Sung, they won all of Mr. Kim's money. That amount of money was large enough to pay off the debt, and they even generously gave him some change. Immediately after that, Osu quickly left to go to Oh Young's place. Unexpectedly, at this time, Mr. Kim threatened Jin Sung's family. Mr. Kim threw out a knife and asked Jin Sung to choose 1 or 2. Osu had just arrived outside when suddenly a stranger rushed to stab him. Osu tried to stand up to see who it was, but unexpectedly the person who stabbed him was Jin Sung. Osu only had time to ask Jin Sung why you did that. Then he tried to step forward and called Oh Young's name. Osu wanted to see Oh Young, but in the end fell to the ground and fainted. This choice also made Jin Sung extremely miserable. Because of his family, he betrayed his comrade who had gone through so many dangers with him. Very quickly, the weather turned to spring. Everything was warm and beautiful for a new beginning. Jin Sung and Sojun returned to their hometown to live. The 2 were wondering what kind of flowers to choose to visit Osu. Today, Oh Young went to a coffee shop to drink tea. Unexpectedly, the owner of the shop here also had the same hobby as her for lamb's ear plants. He confided in her about someone he used to love, a cute and kind blind girl. Oh Young wondered if the owner felt uncomfortable because lovers always wanted to look into each other's eyes. The owner insisted that it was not because she always looked at him with all her heart and breath. The owner was curious about Oh Young's eyes because she was carrying a walking stick. It turned out that it was just her habit. Oh Young could now clearly see that the person standing in front of her was an extremely handsome gentleman. Just like the promise they made in the past, when they met again, Osu and Oh Young forgave and let go of the past. The 2 of them will have a new, promising start. No one knows how long their love will last, but they will definitely love each other until their last breath. The movie ends here. Thank you for your interest and watching.